Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this session. We are talking about connecting data management services to computing platforms. So, today I will be the major guy, just showing you a lot of PowerPoints and maybe a few things about. And then we have Harry. He's not here yet, but he will be back. And we have my colleague also here, Marvin Wilkins. He will talk to you about how do we deal with HPC and B2Drop. So this is basically the agenda. This is not a hands-on per se. This is a demonstration, just to show you how you can, because most of the people who work with HPC, we work with command line commands. So it's we will be working on if you have any other thing, if you need to publish or use B2Drop, B2Save, B2Share, all of them have been demonstrated, and B2Drop will be today, later on. Is it today or tomorrow? User for B2Drop? Yes. Yeah, today will be today. So then you can use the web interface. So the aim basically is to show you the integration of EUDAT CDI data services. B2Save, B2Share, and B2Drop. I added B2Find and B2Handle because we make use of them on the other end. B2Find to harvest whatever we publish into B2Share, and then B2Handle is very important because we use it for allocating PIDs in B2Share as well as in B2Save. So we'll be using one of CSC's computing platform. This time we are going to be using puhti.csc.fi. Actually, when we go on Thursday, tomorrow, when we go to CSC, you probably see a housing where Puhti also is actually housed. It's actually in this city. Mahtia Puhti. So CDI, I know all of you have seen most of these things. So that's basically that's a palette of EUDAT services. B2Find, B2Share, Handle, Access, B2Save, and then B2Drop. And basically, we are going to be concentrating on B2Share, B2Drop, and B2Save in this here. So, B2Drop, it's intuitive and very easy web access. It's just like a Dropbox type of service in which you can just share your data, upload your data there, synchronize it with your laptop. And when we start working about on the demonstration, you will see also you don't really need your laptop or to share data when you are just working on an HPC system. And it's very easy, to share to a colleague or a friend any data by just creating links or some other things. And one other important thing here is that B2Drop is tightly connected to B2Share. So we can on and off publish directly. You are in B2Drop. This is the data I have done. This is my research. I want to publish it. You can just say, I want to publish to B2Share, and then it will transfer the data. Or from B2Share, I need my data from B2Drop, and it works. Yeah, B2Save is practically it's based on iRods, and this is for large data sets, because B2Drop is not very good for very large data sets, and B2Share is for publishing, not for large data sets either. So that is where comes in B2Save. And one of the major advantages of B2Save is that you can actually geopolitically place them across the world or across Europe and synchronize data between them. That means you can replicate data across data sites in Europe or across the world. And there's a possibility we set it right on an HPC system, for example, that you have a complete auto-ingest. So that means all data, in such a case, you create maybe a directory. The system admin creates a directory that anything you put inside here, it's automatically migrated to B2, which is the auto-ingest feature. Okay, B2 Share has the sharing publishing service, which you have had the opportunity of listening to, publishing and sharing data with B2 Share. So basically, we are going to be talking about 3 different things here, about on HPC. Either you go to your web browser on a B2 drop, create a link, give it to your friend. He just use wget and get the data from there, from an HPC. Or you can use a web DAF or using a Jupyter notebook. Yeah, the same things here. And this is an example of how to do that. Okay, B2 Save, it's practically there's no web interface. We don't have any web interface to it. So all you have to do is, because we are talking about large data sets, so basically we use APIs across HPC systems. So one of the things we are going to be looking into is that how do we make it easier to automate so that you don't have to be logging, key your name and password, everything you do this. So we create a simple text file with all the information you need for connection. We'll look into this when we are demonstrating. And these are simple, simple and simple, depends. So these are different possibilities we can do. We can list files and collections, create, upload, download, delete both files and collections. These are just, this is the APIs, HTTP REST API that we can use. And you can see that we can list files recursively. Unfortunately, we cannot upload files recursively, easily. So, and that's where comes that, one of the requirements that I put for this one is that to have an open mind and then ready to just enjoy, but have a little bit idea of shell script. So you can create a shell script from your file. You just say, okay, this is the directory I am. Take what you need here. Everything in this directory, I want it uploaded. And it does that. So that's B2 Share. So also, we are using HTTP REST API. So, but we need authentication. In this case, we create API token from the web interface. So we have to go there, create a token. This is a systematic way of doing that. You create your token, and then you can make use of it to interact with B2 Share. So when we get to the HPC, you have created your token. We need to create an environment variable so that you see the token. That's actually my token for this training. If you need to be keying it in every time, it's going to be difficult and take time. So you can just directly export your token and then the host we are dealing with. And you can see also here we are using training-b2share.eu.eu, which we have used in publishing data. Yeah, B2 Share doesn't enforce any publication workflow as such. But it's as simple as that. Create a draft record. You have played with it a little bit the other time. Create a draft record, add data, include metadata, who is the author, what do you want, is there a link to other publication somewhere, or what other things. And the same thing as HTTP API, it doesn't impose any specific workflow. But we can look at it this way. So we want to create a B2Share. We get community schema. That means we go through, what are the communities available? You can list them, and then we can see, okay, this is my community there. And you can search there, and then you get your community. And then from there, you create a draft record, add metadata, add files, checksum automatically created for the files. And then when it's done and you are happy with it, you go, okay, let me commit all these things, and then you publish a draft. It's there. You have you commit the draft there. Do you need, in such a case, because when you create the draft in communities, for example, because we have community admins that could, because we don't want every Jill, Jack, and Harry to publish into a particular community. So we have people who look after the community to say that, this one is not advertising some drugs or some other things in this by using this system. So if we need to have approval, the admin will look at it. Okay, this is actually for this community, and this is a good thing. Gives approval, and then the record is submitted, and then community approved. So it's published. If it doesn't need that, then you just say publish your data when you have finished with it. If it is not something that needs approval, so you just publish your data, and that's the steps. So some of the commands we'll be going through today is we have to list communities, because you have to know which community you are going to publish to. That's one thing. What community? Get the community schema. List, or there you can see last. That means what is the current community schema, because we can have versions also of community schemas. And you can list records. Most of these things where you are listing and getting information, you do not need your token, because this is a publicly available things. You can search records, you don't need a token. You can search drafts, and you can get specific records. Because when you search and you look at, then you have to look, you will get information. We'll be able to see how we'll get that cryptic number there, which is the ID for the record during our demonstration. Okay, one of the things about publishing on using HPC system is that because you don't have the opportunity of using the web interface, but there are certain requirements, and that's why I'm going to show it what are the requirements for EUDAT, for example, EUDAT community on B2Share. So for us to be able to get the information from there, we go to the B2Share, look at what we have there. Okay, these are the records, and then we choose a community. From the community, we choose the community, and then, for example, you can see right straight ahead, that's a ID for EUDAT community. Every community has their own ID. They are unique IDs. And then we can get a record. This is a data set. That's something I have played with earlier. We get a data set here. And then from there, because this is a data set, then when we add a very nice API to it, then we'll be able to get information. Who are the creators? What are all the informations? And then what is very, very important here that we are going to look at is the schema. Do we have any stick? No. There, the schema. That is something that is important for us. We'll click on that schema, which is, you can see API communities, and then that is the EUDAT community ID. We click on the schema, and then we scroll down to find required fields. If you are working on a web interface, some of the fields are created for you automatically. HPC using API, not possible. So you have to know what is necessary and you have to give it to it, or else you will not be able to create a draft or publish it. You might create a draft, but you will never succeed to publish it. So, and that's one example. Is for example, number 4, it's automatically created on a web interface, community specific. But on an HPC, you have to. What is the community? We have to know the community. We have to have a title. What is the access type? Open, close, publication state, draft, or published. And then community specific. What do I want from this community? Something specific that I want to be included here. Usually on a web interface, it's empty. But because HPC is not the same thing as web interface, you have to include this specific. Community specific, I don't want anything. You add. You don't add anything, but you just have to mention it, and then it's empty. So, and this is basically what, because you need to be able to do this. You have to do this one to know exactly what you need for that community, or else you can create your draft, but you cannot publish it because something required is missing. Then you can create your draft record. You can see here we have access token. You can't create a draft record without logging in. Some of you noticed that yesterday when we were having hands-on, that you have to log in to be able to do certain things. So then you upload file into your draft record. You can delete file from the draft record. I mistakenly uploaded wrong file. You can delete it, add another one, and then you can list the files in that record that you have created. You can update a draft record. Updates, okay, now I want to add more. For example, the first one here is keywords. If somebody is searching for it, what keywords I want them to, when they use, it brings my publication out. That is important in my publication. And then, for example, the title. I missed a few things to add to it. You can replace it or you can update it. And then finally, you publish your data. Thank you. Questions so far?
Yeah. So this is for publishing records on B2Share using API so that you can do it from HPC or any command line program or whatever.
Yeah.
You can use the same token to actually download data from
B2Share? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can, because basically what we looked into is B2Drop, B2Save, and B2Share. But on an HPC, you can publish your data and you can download data and records from there using the same APIs. And of course, because if things that you were just list that is commonly available that you don't need a token for. But if it is something that, for example, publishing a record and then downloading a record, you don't necessarily need You don't need, because this is an open access, then you don't really need anything you don't need a token. You just have to know whom you are talking to. You see, list the community you are looking for, the records under it. This is the record I want, and this is what I want to download.
So
then,
this is not only for publicly available data sets on B2Share?
Yeah, no. You can't, for example, if it is, if you have, for example, secure B2Share that we are talking about, if you have all the necessary tokens to be able to access the data, it doesn't matter where it is, you will get the data from there.